The twin moons of Kelduria cast an ethereal glow through the crystalline dome of the palace as Olivia paced her guest chambers. Her Earth Fleet uniform had been replaced with flowing robes of a material that felt like silk, but shimmered with its own inner light. The Keldurian attendants had explained it was woven from the cocoons of skyborn creatures that lived in the upper atmosphere. Olivia touched the communication device on her wrist. Commander Kate Walsh appeared as a small hologram. Her expression concerned, "Captain. They're saying you're engaged to the alien Empress. Please tell me this is some kind of diplomatic misunderstanding." Olivia sighed. "I gave her a flower, Kate. A forget-me-not from my mother's garden. Apparently in Keldurian culture that's a formal proposal of marriage." Kate's holographic eyes widened, and she accepted. "This is way beyond your mission parameters. Captain Earth Command is going to have a field day with this. I know. But listen, Kate, the Keldurians are at least 1,000 years ahead of us technologically. Their faster-than-light capabilities make ours look primitive. Their medical science has eliminated disease. Their energy production is clean and limitless. This alliance through marriage, it could mean everything for Earth. So you're actually considering going through with this?" Olivia paused at the window, looking out at the alien city. It was beautiful in its geometric precision, yet somehow organic in its flow. Nothing like the crowded, sprawling cities of Earth. There's something about her, Kate. Something I can't explain. She's lived for centuries. She's wise beyond anything I can comprehend. And yet there's a curiosity in her, a fascination with humanity that seems almost childlike. Kate's hologram crossed her arms. "You're talking about feelings now, Captain, not diplomacy." A soft chime interrupted them, announcing a visitor. Olivia quickly ended the communication as the door slid open, revealing Empress Lyria. She had changed from her formal attire into simpler robes, though they still shimmered with embedded light crystals. "Am I interrupting, Captain Benson?" The Empress asked, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Not at all. Your Majesty, I was just familiarizing myself with my quarters." Lyria glided into the room, her movements fluid and graceful. "Please call me Lyria when we are alone. Titles create unnecessary distance." Olivia nodded. "Then you must call me Olivia." The Empress smiled, that strange alien smile that Olivia found increasingly captivating. "Olivia, I sense you have questions, perhaps concerns about what has transpired." "To be honest, yes, I do. The joining ceremony you mentioned, I don't even know what that entails." Lyria moved to a sitting area and gestured for Olivia to join her. "It is not so different from your human weddings, a public declaration of commitment, an exchange of vows and genetic material." Olivia nearly choked. Genetic material. "A small sample only. For compatibility research. It is painless, I assure you." The Empress tilted her head, studying Olivia. "You humans have such expressive faces, every emotion so clearly displayed. It is refreshing. Our people guard their expressions carefully. Showing emotion is considered somewhat vulgar. Yet you laugh. You smiled when I gave you the flower." "Yes, I have been considered somewhat unconventional among my people. Perhaps that is why I find your species so intriguing. You embrace emotion. You let it guide you alongside logic." Olivia leaned forward. "Your Majesty Lyria, I need to understand something. Was your acceptance of my accidental proposal truly spontaneous, or was this planned all along? Was I somehow manipulated into offering that flower?" The Empress was quiet for a moment, her silver skin reflecting the moonlight. "A fair question. Your arrival has been anticipated for some time, Captain. The discovery of your species has been the most significant event in our history for millennia. I will not deny that an alliance through genetic union was discussed as a possibility." Olivia's heart sank. "So this was a diplomatic trap?" "No." Lyria's voice became firm. "The discussions were theoretical. Only I personally rejected all such suggestions. I wished for our peoples to find their own path to alliance through mutual respect, not manipulation." She reached out her 6-fingered hand, hovering just above Olivia's. "When you offered the flower, it was genuine, unexpected, beautiful in its simplicity. That is why I accepted. That is why I chose you. Not because of politics or strategy, but because in that moment I glimpsed the essence of humanity, its capacity for connection without calculation. Olivia found herself believing the alien empress. There was a sincerity in her multifaceted eyes that transcended species. But what of attraction compatibility? How can you know we would suit each other when we are so different? Lyria made a sound like gentle wind chimes. Different, yes, yet not so different as you might think. Our species share more commonalities than either of us initially recognized. Our scientists have confirmed physical compatibility. And as for attraction, her voice lowered slightly. I find your form quite pleasing. Olivia Benson of Earth, your strength, your curiosity, your kindness, these qualities transcend physical form. Olivia felt a flush spread across her cheeks. And what of love? Does that factor into Kaldurian unions? Love. Lyria tested the word. We have a similar concept, though. It is more complex in our language, encompassing duty, respect, desire, and growth together. We believe true connection develops through time, through shared experience, through mutual challenge and support. It is not the immediate passion you're human. Stories often depict but a deeper, more enduring bond. The Empress leaned closer. I do not expect you to love me as a human might love another human. Not yet. But I believe that together we could forge something new. Something neither of our species has experienced before, a bridge between worlds. Outside the window, a flight of bioluminescent creatures soared past, trailing light across the night sky. Olivia watched them mesmerized. They are called Orith, Lyria explained. They live only 7 days, but in that time they travel completely around our world, sharing light with every corner before returning here to the capital to breed and die. Their brief lives are filled with beauty and purpose. Like humans, Olivia said softly. Compared to your lifespan, we must seem like those creatures, brief flashes of light. Lyria touched Olivia's hand, finally making contact. Her skin was cool and smooth. Yet what light you bring, what brilliance, what innovation your briefer lives give you perspective. We have lost the urgency to create, to connect, to matter. The touch sent a strange, pleasant tingling through Olivia's arm. She didn't pull away. Tomorrow the court will expect an answer. Lyria said, if you decline, there will be no diplomatic penalty. I give you my word. Our peoples can still forge alliances through traditional means. And if I accept, the Empress's eyes seemed to glow more intensely. Then we begin a journey no human or Kaldurian has taken before. We learn from each other. We grow. Together we unite our worlds not just through treaties but through understanding. Olivia looked down at their joined hands, human and alien. I need time to think. Of course. Lyria stood. Rest now, Olivia Benson. Tomorrow is merely the beginning, whatever you decide. After the Empress left, Olivia returned to the window, watching the distant Orith creatures dancing across the sky. She thought of Earth, of duty, of protocol, but she also thought of possibilities of discovery, of connection across the stars, of the strange new feelings stirring within her. She touched her communication device. Commander Kate's face appeared again. Kate, Olivia said, I need you to send a message to Earth Command. Tell them I'm considering the Empress's proposal as a diplomatic opportunity. Tell them I'm requesting authorization to proceed with the joining ceremony. Kate looked shocked. Captain, are you sure about this? This goes beyond any protocol. Olivia smiled, looking out at the alien world that might soon become her home. Sometimes, Kate, the most important discoveries happen when we step beyond protocol. As she ended the communication, she noticed something on her bedside table, a small crystal container holding the forget-me-not she had given the Empress, preserved perfectly, its tiny blue petals as vibrant as the day it was picked. Beside it was a note in elegant script. Some small things are meant to last forever. Morning came with startling swiftness on Kalduria. The binary stars rose together, bathing the crystal city in golden light. Olivia stood on her balcony, watching as the alien metropolis awakened. Sky vessels began their precise patterns through the air while Kaldurians moved through elevated walkways, their silver forms catching the light. A soft chime announced the arrival of attendants. They entered her chamber carrying what appeared to be ceremonial garments, not the flowing robes she had worn yesterday, but something more structured, more regal. The joining attire, Captain Benson, one of the attendants explained. Her voice had a musical quality like all Kaldurians. If you have decided to accept the Empress's proposal, Olivia took a deep breath. I have. The news seemed to please the attendants. Their movements became more animated as they helped her prepare. The garment they dressed her in was unlike anything she had worn before. It seemed to be made of thousands of tiny scales that moved with her, reflecting light in cascading patterns. The material adjusted to her human form, perfectly comfortable despite its apparent rigidity. It is woven from the essence of time crystals, an attendant explained, noticing Olivia's fascination with the garment. They grow in the deep caves beneath the palace. Each takes a century to form. The garment you wear represents 5,000 years of growth. They respond to your bioelectrical field. That is why they move as you move. Olivia was stunned by the implications. This must be incredibly valuable. The attendant made the chiming sound that Olivia now recognized as Kaldurian laughter. Value is measured differently here, Captain. What matters is significance. The time crystals signify the Empress's commitment to your shared future, 5,000 years of history to forge a new beginning. Once dressed, Olivia was led through corridors she hadn't seen before. Each was more grand than the last, with ceilings that soared hundreds of feet overhead and walls that seemed alive with shifting patterns of light. They passed Kaldurians of various ranks, all of whom bowed deeply to her. Some looked at her with obvious curiosity, others with what she interpreted as skepticism. Finally, they reached massive doors carved from some iridescent material that wasn't quite metal or stone. 2 royal guards stood at attention, their armor similar to Olivia's garment, but darker, more imposing. The Great Hall awaits, Captain, one of the attendants said. The Empress and the court are assembled. The joining ceremony will begin when you enter. Olivia squared her shoulders, drawing on all her military training. Will someone explain the protocol? I don't want to make another cultural mistake. A new voice answered from behind her. There will be no mistakes today, Olivia Benson. She turned to find a tall Kaldurian male, his silver skin bearing elaborate markings that seemed to be etched directly into his flesh. I am Sentinel Zal, Chief Advisor. To Empress Lyria, I will guide you through the ceremony. His tone was not exactly warm, but it was respectful. You need only speak from your heart and provide the genetic sample when requested. Genetic sample. Olivia repeated nervously, a simple touch of your hand to the crystal sphere. Nothing invasive, I assure you. He studied her with eyes that were darker than the Empress's, more calculating. I must confess, Captain, I was among those who opposed this union initially, and now I reserve judgment. The Empress sees something in you and in humanity that many of us have overlooked. She has ruled for 3 centuries with wisdom. Our empire has known peace and prosperity under her guidance. I trust her vision even when I do not fully comprehend it. The massive doors began to open silently, despite their apparent weight. Sentinel Zal offered his arm in a surprisingly human gesture. Shall we proceed, Captain? Olivia took his arm, feeling the strange, cool texture of Kaldurian skin. She took a deep breath and stepped forward into the great hall. The space was enormous, far larger than seemed possible from the outside. The ceiling was open to the sky where the twin stars shone down, bathing everything in golden light. Thousands of Kaldurians lined the walls, arranged in what appeared to be hierarchical patterns. And at the center, standing upon a raised platform, was Empress Lyria. Olivia nearly gasped. The Empress wore ceremonial armor that made her appear taller, more powerful. Her silver skin was complemented by the deep purple of her ceremonial attire, and her 4 eyes seemed to glow with their own inner light. She was breathtaking in her alien beauty. As Olivia walked forward, guided by Sentinel Zal, the assembled Kaldurians began a harmonic humming that reverberated through the hall. It was neither music nor speech, but something in between, something that Olivia felt in her bones. They sing the Song of Union. Zal explained quietly. It has not been performed in 7 decades, not since the Empress's sister joined with a noble from the outer colonies. They reached the central platform, and Zal released her arm. Stepping back, Olivia ascended the steps alone, until she stood facing Empress Lyria. The humming stopped, and silence filled the massive space. Olivia Benson of Earth. Lyria spoke, her voice carrying effortlessly. You stand before the court of Kelduria, offering union through the ancient rites. Do you come with clear mind and open heart? Olivia found, her voice steady despite her nervousness. I do, your majesty. And do you understand that what is joined today cannot be separated? That our fates, our futures, our legacies will be forever intertwined. Olivia thought of Earth, of her family, of her duty to her people. But she also thought of the possibilities this union represented, the knowledge, the alliance, the bridge between worlds. I understand and I accept this honor. Lyria's expression softened, subtly visible, perhaps only to Olivia. Then, let us join not as Empress and Captain, not as Keldurian and human, but as two beings who choose each other across the vastness of space and difference. From somewhere above, a crystal sphere descended, stopping to hover between them. It was about the size of Olivia's palm, transparent but with swirling colors deep within. Place your hand upon the sphere, Lyria instructed. It will read your genetic code, your neural patterns, your essential self. It will not harm you. Olivia reached out and touched the sphere with her right hand. It felt warm, unlike the cool touch of Keldurian skin. Lyria placed her 6-fingered hand on the opposite side. Their fingers were almost touching, with only the thin crystal between them. The sphere began to glow brighter, the colors within swirling faster. Olivia felt a tingling sensation that spread up her arm and throughout her body. It wasn't painful, but it was intense, as if every cell was being gently examined. Then something unexpected happened. Images began to flash in her mind, memories that weren't her own. She saw Kelduria as it was centuries ago. She felt the weight of leadership, the loneliness of rulership. She experienced the curious mixture of respect and isolation that had defined Lyria's long life. And based on the widening of the Empress's eyes, Olivia realized Lyria was experiencing her memories too. Her childhood on Earth, her training at the Fleet Academy, her first space mission, the joys and sorrows that had shaped her human experience. The sphere between them pulsed once brightly, then shattered into 1,000 tiny fragments that didn't fall, but instead orbited around their still outstretched hands, forming patterns of increasing complexity. Sentinel Zal spoke from behind them, his voice formal. The sphere accepts the union. The patterns are harmonious, the joining is complete. The assembled Keldurians began their harmonic humming again, but this time it was higher, more jubilant. Lyria took Olivia's hand properly, now their fingers, intertwining human and alien, joined. It is done, the Empress said softly. We are one in the eyes of my people, and in the fabric of Keldurian law. Olivia felt dizzy from the experience. I saw your memories, I think, and I yours. A rare blessing. The sphere rarely grants such deep sharing. It suggests unusual compatibility. Before Olivia could respond, the Empress turned them both to face the assembled court, still holding Olivia's hand. Behold, she called out, her voice powerful and commanding. The union is complete. Captain Olivia Benson of Earth is now consort to the throne, equal in standing to myself. Her word is my word, her will my will. Let it be recorded in the great archive. The response was immediate. The Keldurians dropped to one knee in unison, the movement so perfectly synchronized it appeared choreographed. Rise and celebrate, Lyria commanded. For today marks a new chapter in the history of our empire, a new beginning for Kelduria and Earth united. As the court rose, the walls of the great hall seemed to transform, shifting from crystal clarity to displays of both Keldurian and Earth landscapes side by side, mountains, oceans, cities, and forests from both worlds, created a stunning visual tapestry. Music began from unseen sources, strange but not unpleasant to human ears. The formal ceremony was transitioning into celebration. Lyria leaned close to Olivia. There will be 7 days of festivities, it is tradition, but we need not stay for all of it. 7 days, Olivia whispered. On Earth, weddings rarely last more than one. The Empress made her chiming laugh. Your brief, vibrant lives again. You burn so brightly, yet perhaps there is wisdom in your brevity. You do not waste time. She squeezed Olivia's hand, gently. Come. There is something I wish to show you. Something no human has seen. They descended from the platform, moving through the crowd. Kaldurians bowed as they passed, some offering words of blessing in their native tongue. Others simply watched. With obvious curiosity, Olivia noticed some exchanges of what appeared to be valuable objects. Are they trading goods? They descended through winding passages that spiraled deeper beneath the palace. The walls transitioned from polished crystal to raw stone, then to something else entirely. A material that seemed to pulse with its own inner rhythm. The air grew warmer, and carried a scent that reminded Olivia of thunderstorms and ozone. Few Kaldurians have seen what I'm about to show you, Lyria said, as they continued downward. Even among my people, this place is more legend than known reality. Only the ruling, family, and a handful of dedicated guardians are permitted to enter. Olivia felt the weight of the trust being placed in her. Then why show me? Because you are now part of the ruling family, Lyria answered simply. And because understanding this place is essential to understanding Kalduria, our history, and our potential future together. They reached what appeared to be a dead end, a solid wall of the strange, pulsing material. Lyria placed her hand against it and closed all 4 eyes. The wall responded to her touch, beginning to ripple like liquid, then parting to create an opening. The material recognizes genetic markers, she explained. It will recognize yours as well, now that we are joined. They stepped through the opening into a vast cavern so large Olivia couldn't see the far walls. The space was filled with a soft blue glow that seemed to emanate from the center, where a massive crystalline structure rose from the floor to the distant ceiling. It resembled a tree with a thick trunk and branching limbs, but it was clearly not organic, at least not in any way. Olivia understood. The entire structure pulsed with energy waves of light traveling from its roots up through the branches. Surrounding this crystal tree were pools of what looked like liquid mercury, perfectly still and reflective. This is the heart of Kalduria, Lyria said, her voice hushed with reverence. The source of our technology, our longevity, our civilization. Olivia stared in wonder. What is it? We don't know, not entirely, Lyria admitted. It was here when my ancestors first evolved to sentience on this world. Our oldest legends say it fell from the stars in ancient times. It has always been, it will always be. But it chose to bond with us to share its knowledge, its energy, its essence. She led Olivia closer to one of the mercury pools. Look. Olivia peered into the reflective surface, expecting to see her own face. But instead she saw images that seemed to flow beneath the surface. Kaldurians, in primitive clothing, discovering the cavern for the first time. Their wonder, their fear, their first tentative contact with the crystal structure. The pools record history, Lyria explained. Every significant moment in Kaldurian development. They remember so we never forget. The images changed, showing the evolution of Kaldurian society from primitive tribes to a spacefaring civilization. Olivia watched, fascinated, as centuries passed in moments. The pools showed war, then peace, technological, development, artistic achievements, all centered around this mysterious heart. Why does it look like a tree? We believe it mirrors what is significant to the observers, Lyria replied. To my ancestors who lived among the great forests of the surface, it appeared as the mightiest of trees. To others it has appeared as mountains, ocean waves, star formations. It reflects what resonates with the viewer. Olivia looked again and realized the crystal structure did indeed seem to shift subtly sometimes. appearing more geometric, sometimes more organic, depending on how she focused her eyes. And this is the source of your technology. Yes, our scientists study the energies, the patterns, the mathematics it reveals. Through communion with the heart, we developed faster-than-light travel neural interfaces, biological engineering, all gifts from this ancient entity. Olivia circled the nearest pool, trying to process the implications. Is it sentient? In its way, though not as you or I understand consciousness. It does not speak. It does not act directly, but it responds, it teaches, it guides. We believe it has a purpose, though. That purpose has unfolded over millennia. Lyria approached the central crystal tree, placing her hand against its trunk. The structure pulsed brighter in response, waves of blue light washing over her silver skin. Come, she said, gesturing for Olivia to join her. It should recognize you now. Olivia hesitated, then stepped forward and placed her hand beside the Empress's. The crystal felt warm, not cool as she expected, and there was a subtle vibration, a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. Then she gasped as a wave of sensation washed through her. It wasn't images or thoughts exactly, but something more fundamental. A sense of vast intelligence, ancient beyond comprehension, patient and purposeful. And strangest of all, a feeling of welcome, of recognition. It knows you, Lyria said softly, watching Olivia's face. How is that possible? I'm not Kaldurian. The heart exists beyond our understanding of species and biology. It recognizes patterns, consciousness, potential. She paused, studying Olivia's reaction. What do you feel? Olivia struggled to put the sensation into words, age, wisdom, purpose, but also curiosity. Almost like it's been waiting. Lyria's eyes widened slightly. Waiting for what? For us, I think. For humans and Kaldurians together. Olivia wasn't sure where the certainty came from, but it felt right. Like this moment was somehow anticipated. The crystal pulsed brightly at her words, sending cascades of light throughout the cavern. The mercury pools rippled their surfaces, disturbed for the first time. Lyria stepped back, looking shaken. The heart has never reacted this way, not in all recorded history. One of the pools, near them, began to show new images. Not of past events, but of something else entirely. Earth and Kalduria side by side, then images of both species working together, building something vast that spanned between stars. Is it showing the future? The pools have never shown anything but history, Lyria said, her voice filled with awe. Until now. They watched as the vision continued. The creation of technologies, neither species had imagined ships that could travel between galaxies, worlds transformed, and renewed life spreading outward. The scale was breathtaking, the timeline clearly spanning centuries. Then the images faded, leaving the pool reflective once more. You were right, Lyria whispered. It was waiting. For this moment. For our union. Olivia felt overwhelmed. But why me, why Earth? Surely there are more advanced species in the galaxy. Perhaps advancement isn't what it sought, Lyria suggested. Perhaps it recognized something in humanity, something complementary to Kaldurians, something necessary. She turned to face Olivia fully. Your species adapts quickly, embraces change, takes risks. My people plan, calculate, perfect. We move slowly with precision. You move swiftly with passion together. She gestured to the now quiet pools. Together, perhaps we create something new, something neither could achieve alone. Olivia thought of the vision, the vast future it had shown. If what we saw is possible, the heart does not lie, Lyria said. It may not show all truth, but what it reveals is truth. They stood in silence for a moment, absorbing the implications. Then from above came a sound, an alarm that echoed through the cavern, harsh and discordant. Lyria tensed immediately. The palace alert system. Something is wrong. She pressed a jewel on her ceremonial armor and spoke rapidly in Kaldurian. The response came immediately, also in Kaldurian, too quick for Olivia's translator to process. But she could tell from Lyria's expression that something serious had happened. "What is it? We must return to the surface immediately," Lyria said, already moving toward the exit. "Your ship, the Earth vessel that brought you, it's under attack." Olivia's heart dropped. Attack by whom? Kaldurians? No. Lyria's voice was grim. By the Ravagers, a species. From the Outer Rim. We've held them at bay for centuries. They must have detected your ship, sensed a new alliance forming. They seek to prevent it. They hurried back through the passages, ascending rapidly toward the palace. Lyria moved with surprising speed, her ceremonial garments somehow not hindering her movement. "My crew," Olivia said as they ran. "Commander Kate." "Our defense grid is already activated. We're sending ships," Lyria assured her. "But we must coordinate the response. I need you on the command deck. Your knowledge of Earth vessel capabilities will be crucial." They emerged from the hidden passage into chaos. The celebration had been disrupted. Kaldurian officials were rushing in all directions. Guards were mobilizing defense. Systems throughout the palace were coming online, visible through the crystal walls. Sentinel Zal met them in the corridor, his expression severe. "Empress, the Earth vessel is under heavy assault." 8 Ravager ships emerged from hyperspace without warning. Our outer defenses did not detect their approach. "How is that possible?" Lyria demanded. "Our sensor net extends throughout the system. Unknown Majesty. But their weapons technology appears advanced. The Earth ship's shields are failing." Olivia activated her communication device, desperate to reach her crew. The holographic display flickered, showing static, then cleared. Commander Kate's face appeared, her expression tense. Smoke visible behind her. "Captain, we're taking heavy fire shields. At 28%, multiple hull breaches on lower decks. Hold position, Kate," Olivia ordered. "Kaldurian reinforcements are coming. We've got 5, maybe 6 minutes before shields fail completely. These weapons they're cutting through are defenses like they were designed specifically to counter Earth technology." Lyria exchanged a look with Sentinel Zal, something unspoken passing between them. "Get to the emergency shuttle," Olivia told Kate. "Abandon ship if necessary." "Captain, the data cores if these attackers board us." The royal shuttle accelerated toward the battle at impossible speeds. The stars outside the viewport blurred as they transitioned to some form of faster-than-light travel, despite being within the gravity well of Kalduria. Something Olivia had thought technologically impossible. "How are we moving this fast inside a planetary system?" she asked, gripping the seat as the shuttle shuddered around them. "The heart empowers our flagship vessels." Lyria explained, her hands dancing across control surfaces that responded to her touch with pulses of light. "What you might call quantum tunneling, though that is an imprecise translation. We move through spaces between conventional reality." The journey that should have taken minutes lasted only seconds. The shuttle emerged from its accelerated state directly behind the Kaldurian defense fleet, which was engaging the Ravager vessels. Olivia got her first clear look at the enemy ships. They were indeed insectoid in appearance, with segmented hulls and protruding weapon arrays that resembled mandibles. Their surfaces were matte black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it, making them appear as moving voids against the stars. The Earth ship, Intrepid, was in dire condition, multiple hull breaches, vented atmosphere into space. The engines were offline, and only emergency power seemed to be functioning. Several Kaldurian vessels had formed a protective screen around it, engaging the Ravagers at close range. "Your military technology," Olivia said, quickly. "What are its strengths, weaknesses? What should I tell my people?" Lyria activated a communication array. "Your ship's systems are compatible with ours, transmitting shield frequency modulations now. They should help repel the Ravager energy." "Weapons." She turned to Olivia. "The Ravagers use directed plasma weaponry, extremely high temperature but narrow focus. They target propulsion and communication systems first, then life support." A Kaldurian officer spoke from a secondary console, his words translated in Olivia's earpiece. "Empress, we're detecting unusual energy buildup in the lead Ravager vessel, something we haven't seen in previous engagements." On the main view screen, one of the black ships began to glow with purple energy. Sphere of crackling power forming at its bow. They've adapted, Lyria said, her voice grim. They're preparing an energy pulse weapon. Target? Olivia asked, though she feared she knew the answer. Your vessel. Most likely, their tactics suggest they wish to destroy it completely, not capture it. Olivia activated her communication device. Commander Kate, do you copy? Implement the shield modifications being transmitted from the Keldurian vessels immediately. Kate's voice came through, broken with static. Captain, receiving modifications. Implementing now. But our power reserves are critical. We can't maintain shields for more than a few minutes. The Royal Shuttle moved closer now, part of the defensive formation surrounding the crippled Earth ship. Olivia could see Keldurian weapons fire striking the Ravager vessel seemingly with little effect. Their black hulls absorbed the energy, dissipating it somehow. We need to evacuate my crew, Olivia said, before that weapon fires. Lyria nodded, giving commands in a rapid Keldurian. The shuttle changed course, moving directly toward the Intrepid, positioning itself between the Earth vessel and the charging Ravager weapon. What are you doing? Olivia demanded. Our shields can withstand their pulse weapon. Yours cannot. Lyria answered calmly. We will provide cover while your crew evacuates. Your ship isn't large enough to evacuate everyone. No, but it can establish a temporary corridor, a bridge between vessels. As they approached the Intrepid, Olivia saw the damage more clearly. Several decks were completely exposed to space. Bodies floated among the debris, a sight that made her stomach clench with grief and rage. She recognized some of them crew members she had personally selected for this mission. The shuttle extended what appeared to be an energy tether connecting to one of the Intrepid's intact airlocks. The tether solidified, becoming a translucent tunnel. Your people can cross through this passage, Lyria explained. It will maintain atmosphere and structural integrity regardless of what happens to either vessel. But we must hurry. The Ravager weapon is nearly charged. Olivia activated her communicator again. Commander Kate, evacuation protocol. Bring essential personnel through. The Keldurian energy bridge immediately. Copy that, Captain. But the data cores. Bring what you can, destroy the rest. Through the viewports. Olivia watched as the first of her crew began to emerge from the Intrepid, moving through the energy bridge to the relative safety of the Royal Shuttle. They looked injured, frightened, but moved with the discipline of trained fleet officers. One of the Keldurian defensive vessels exploded as concentrated Ravager fire overwhelmed its shields. The shockwave rocked the Royal Shuttle, causing the energy bridge to flicker momentarily. Empress called the Keldurian officer. The Ravager pulse weapon has reached critical charge. They will fire within moments. Lyria's 4 eyes narrowed in concentration. Divert. All power to forward shields. Olivia watched the monitor as more of her crew evacuated. 20 personnel had made it across, with perhaps 30 more still aboard the dying Earth vessel. Commander Kate was visible now, supervising the evacuation, carrying what appeared to be a portable data core. The lead Ravager ship rotated slowly, bringing its charged weapon to bear on the Intrepid. The purple energy sphere had grown to massive proportions, seeming to distort space around it. They're targeting your ship, Lyria said. When they fire even with our shields at maximum, the energy bridge may collapse. Any crew still crossing will be lost. Olivia made a decision. I'm going across. I need to ensure the sensitive data is secured. No. Lyria grabbed her. Armed, the risk is mine to take. Olivia finished, pulling free. You said we were equals. This is what equals do. They share risk. Before the Empress could respond, Olivia moved to the airlock and stepped into the energy bridge. It felt solid beneath her feet, though it hummed with power. The atmospheric bubble surrounding her was breathable but thin. She began running toward the Intrepid, passing her evacuating crew members as they moved in the opposite direction. Captain, Commander Kate called, spotting her. What are you doing? Making sure we don't leave anything behind that the Ravagers can use against Earth. Olivia replied, not slowing. How many still aboard? 18. All injured engineering team trying to wipe the backup cores. Get them out now, Olivia ordered, continuing toward the Intrepid. She passed the midway point of the energy bridge when she felt, rather than heard, a change in the battle. The hum of the bridge intensified the light around her, shifting to a deeper blue. She looked back and saw the Royal Shuttle's shields flaring as they absorbed weapons fire from multiple Ravager vessels. Through her communicator, she heard the Keldurian officer's voice. Pulse weapon firing. Time seemed to slow. The purple energy sphere on the Ravager ship collapsed in on itself, then expanded outward in a directed beam heading straight for the Intrepid and the energy bridge. The Royal Shuttle moved, positioning itself directly in the path of the beam. Olivia watched in horror. As the pulse struck the shuttle's shields, the impact was catastrophic. The shields held, but the energy had to go somewhere. It cascaded along the surface of the shuttle's defenses like lightning seeking ground. Then Olivia felt the energy bridge begin to destabilize beneath her feet, the solid light surface becoming unstable. Ahead of her, the injured crew members still evacuating cried out in fear as the bridge began to flicker. She made a split-second decision, diving forward to push the nearest injured crew members toward the shuttle side of the bridge. Go, 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 she shouted, helping them gain momentum in the direction of safety. The bridge was collapsing segment by segment from the Intrepid toward the shuttle. Olivia pushed the last of her crew toward safety, then turned to look at her ship. Commander Kate stood at the Intrepid airlock, clutching the data core, her expression one of desperation. Captain the core. Olivia realized Kate couldn't make it across with the heavy core, not with the bridge failing. The data contained everything about Earth's defenses, fleet movements, colony locations. If the Ravagers obtained it, destroy it, she called. That's an order. Kate hesitated, then nodded. She pulled a sidearm and aimed it at the core. The bridge section beneath Olivia's feet vanished. She began to fall into space, the atmospheric bubble around her dissipating. Her last sight was of Kate firing into the data core, destroying Earth's secrets, and of the Royal Shuttle. Shields finally giving way as a second pulse hit them directly. Cold vacuum embraced her. Olivia felt her lungs seize as pressure dropped around her. The sounds of battle faded to silence as the airless void claimed her. The stars seemed to grow brighter as her vision began to dim. Then something unexpected happened. The stars weren't just growing brighter, they were changing, forming patterns, connecting into a lattice of light that surrounded her. It looked familiar, like the crystal tree in the heart of Kelduria. The branches of light extended toward her, wrapping around her failing body. Warmth returned, pressure air. She gasped, pulling oxygen into her starving lungs. Her vision cleared. She wasn't in space anymore. She was somewhere else entirely. A space of pure light with no visible boundaries or features except for the crystal tree structure that now surrounded her completely. Its branches held her suspended in a cocoon of gentle blue light. Olivia. The voice wasn't exactly a sound, more like a thought that formed directly in her mind. She recognized it immediately. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Kelduria. 1 year since the heart had extended itself beyond the planet's surface, changing everything. The Royal Shuttle docked smoothly with the massive station that now orbited at the Lagrange point between Kelduria and its larger moon. From the viewport, Olivia could see dozens of vessels moving in carefully choreographed patterns around the station. Some were the geometric shapes of traditional Keldurian design. Others the more practical, utilitarian Earth fleet ships. But most interesting were the new hybrid vessels. Their hulls a combination of Keldurian living crystal and Earth metals, their engines a fusion of technologies that neither species could have created alone. Nervous? Lyria asked, placing a six-fingered hand on Olivia's shoulder. A little, Olivia admitted. It's not every day you address representatives from 27 different species. 28. Lyria corrected. The Volanans confirmed their attendance this morning. Olivia smiled. You're not helping. The Empress made her chiming laugh, the sound Olivia had grown so fond of over the past year. You faced Ravager weapons and the vacuum of space. You can certainly face a room of diplomats. I'd almost prefer the Ravagers. Olivia muttered, adjusting her formal attire. She wore a modified Earth Fleet uniform now incorporating elements of Kaldurian design. The insignia on her shoulder represented her unique position, consort to the Kaldurian Empress and Earth Ambassador, to the newly formed Galactic Concordat. She still found it strange to see herself in the mirror, her human features unchanged, while her uniform and role had transformed so completely. As they prepared to disembark, Sentinels all approached and bowed, deeply. Empress Consort. The Earth delegation has arrived. Their shuttle is docking in the Eastern Bay. Admiral Walsh sends her regards. Olivia smiled at the mention of Kate's new rank. Thank you, Sentinel. Please ensure they're escorted directly to the conference chamber. We'll begin as soon as everyone is settled. Zal nodded and departed his attitude toward Olivia. Having warmed considerably over the past year, what had begun as skepticism had transformed into respect, perhaps even admiration, as he witnessed the changes the human-Kaldurian alliance had brought. He's actually starting to like me, Olivia commented as they walked toward the central elevator. Zal does not like anyone, Lyria replied with amusement. But he respects you, which, from him, is the highest compliment possible. The station hummed with activity as they moved through its corridors. Kaldurians and humans worked side by side with easy familiarity. The integration of the two species had progressed far more smoothly than anyone could have predicted, thanks in large part to the Heart's continued guidance. They reached the main conference chamber, a vast circular room with a transparent dome ceiling that offered a breathtaking view of Kalduria below the chamber. Was already filling with delegates from across known space. Some familiar to Olivia from previous diplomatic missions, others so alien she could barely comprehend their physical forms. In the center of the room stood a miniature version of the Heart's crystal tree structure. A gift from the Heart itself transported atom by atom to this station to symbolize the new era of cooperation. It pulsed gently with blue light as delegates moved around it, each responding differently to its presence, some with awe, others with scientific curiosity, a few with what appeared to be religious reverence. Admiral Kate Walsh spotted Olivia and approached, her diplomatic smile shifting to genuine warmth as she drew near. The Admiral's uniform was as crisp as ever, though she now wore both Earth Fleet and Concordat insignia. Captain, Kate said, then corrected herself with a grin. I mean Empress Consort Ambassador. You've certainly collected some impressive titles. Olivia embraced her former second-in-command. And you, Admiral, the promotion suits you. Earth needed someone who understood what we're getting ourselves into with this alliance, Kate replied, her expression becoming more serious. The Security Council sends their regards and their questions. They're still concerned about the pace of technological exchange. Olivia nodded, understanding the anxiety back home. They'll see today that we haven't rushed blindly into this. The Concordat protects everyone's interests. Kate glanced at the crystal tree. And what about our special friend? Is it still being chatty? The Heart communicates in its own way, Olivia said carefully. But yes, it continues to guide the integration process. The new developments in medical technology are particularly promising. Resurrection technology, you mean? Kate said, lowering her voice. The families of the crew members it brought back are still struggling with the implications, not to mention the psychological evaluations. Those people remember dying. Olivia, that changes a person. I know, Olivia said soberly. The support programs are ongoing. Our best psychologists and Kaldurian mind healers are working with them. A chime sounded throughout the chamber, signaling the imminent start of the proceedings. Lyria, who had been greeting other delegates, returned to Olivia's side. It's time, she said simply. Olivia took a deep breath and moved to the central podium. The room quieted as she took her position. The delegates finding their designated places, the crystal tree pulsed more brightly, as if sensing the importance of the moment. Distinguished representatives. Olivia began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. 1 year ago, two civilizations stood at a crossroads, Earth and Kalduria separate, in development, history, and biology, yet similar in our shared desire to grow, to learn, to connect across the vastness of space. She gestured to the crystal tree. What we could not have known was that something ancient, something beyond our understanding, had been guiding our paths for longer than either of our species can comprehend. The entity known to Kaldurians as the Heart, and now recognized by Earth scientists as a fifth-dimensional consciousness, chose to reveal itself fully, bringing our worlds together in a moment of crisis. The delegates listened intently, some using translation devices, others employing telepathic receivers for species without auditory organs. The Ravager threat has been neutralized, Olivia continued. Their vessels, dismantled, their technology studied. Their biology revealed them to be not a natural species, but biological weapons created millennia ago by a now extinct civilization and set loose upon the galaxy. Their programming was simple: consume, destroy. Replicate. The Heart prevented them from completing this directive. She paused, letting this information settle. Some of the delegates murmured among themselves. Others remained stoically silent. But the Heart did not act merely to save two civilizations from a common enemy. It acted to accelerate a process already underway: the formation of connections between spacefaring species, the beginning of something greater than any single world could achieve alone. The dome above them darkened slightly, and a holographic display activated, showing the 28 worlds represented in the chamber, their star systems, their relative positions, their technological development levels. Today we formalize what began in crisis: the Galactic Concordat, a federation of independent worlds united by shared knowledge, mutual defense, and open exchange, each member maintaining sovereignty while contributing to collective advancement. The treaty before you has been crafted with input from every civilization represented here. It establishes protocols for technological exchange, scientific collaboration, conflict resolution, and mutual defense. Another hologram appeared, showing the projected development of Concordat space over the next century. The expansion was impressive but measured sustainable. What we propose is not domination or assimilation, but genuine partnership. Each world bringing its unique perspective, its singular genius to create something none of us could achieve alone. Olivia looked at the assembled delegates, seeing the mixture of hope, caution, and calculation in their various expressions. The Arcturian representative with her crystalline exoskeleton, the methane-breathing Volunans in their containment suits, the energy beings from Tau Ceti flickering like living flames. All so different, all potentially vital parts of something unprecedented. The Heart has shown us possibilities beyond our individual imagining, she continued. Cures for diseases that have plagued our world's, technologies that could end resource scarcity, transportation systems that could connect our most distant colonies, methods to heal damaged ecosystems. But it has also shown us warnings. The hologram shifted, showing darkness spreading from beyond known space. A visualization of sensor data collected over the past year. The Ravagers were not the only threat in our galaxy. There are others, some more ancient, some more terrible. And beyond our galaxy, greater dangers still. The Heart has preserved this knowledge, warning us, preparing us. But it cannot face these threats alone. It needs us, all of us. Our diversity, our adaptability, our unique perspectives. Lyria stepped forward, joining Olivia at the podium. For 10,000 years, my people guarded the Heart, believing it was ours alone to protect and study. We were wrong. It belongs to all sentient life. Its purpose extends beyond any single world or species. The Empress gestured to the assembled delegates. Each of you has been contacted by the Heart in some form. Over the past year, your scientists, your mystics, your leaders have reported dreams, visions, unexpected technological breakthroughs. These were not coincidences. They were invitations. The same invitation extended to Calduria millennia ago and to Earth through our union.